Well, hello everyone. I'm Ed Hearn, the president of St. Augustine High School. So glad you could make the Get Acquainted party. Oh, that's right, COVID. Probably should clean my hands too. You know, got to wash your hands a lot here. There we go. Okay. Well, the freshman Get Acquainted party is a tradition. And we really didn't know how to do it. Like if it was a normal party like last year, well, I would be your server. So you would have come in. Right behind me here would be a setup with some hors d'oeuvres, beer and wine. For you teetotalers, water. We're good with that, no problem. But we always have high-end beer like Modelo, Stella. So you might want to just pop one just for this presentation, because given my ability as a speaker, it'll probably go a lot better for you. But I do like pouring wine. And we had a huge we always have a huge selection, like white and red. Unbelievable. So we're very happy that you're with us. I wish you were here in this room right now with us. And what we do is, this is our way of saying welcome to St. Augustine High School. It comes from a deep-seated philosophical position, which is Augustinian friars are hospitable. They are out in the community. They're not monastic. They're not in a place where all they do is pray for us. They do pray for us, but they're also out in the community. And I think that's really what the key is here. It's all about friendship. For your sons, it will be all about brotherhood. So that's why we're here today, to welcome you to the greatest Catholic community, well, let me say it another way, the greatest community in San Diego, if not the United States. So I have two really important people here today. The first is Janelle Whitton, the Austin Parents Association president. Janelle has three children. Janelle's husband is Michael, and Michael serves on the executive committee of the board of directors. So, without any further ado, all the way from Solana Beach, I welcome Janelle Whitton.
Hello, my name is Janelle Whitton, and I'm the president of our Austin Parents Association, also known as the APA. We are the parent support group here at Saints. In normal times, we meet monthly to keep parents up to date on everything Saints. And we provide volunteers at various community and fundraising events throughout the school year. I have two of my own Saintsmen and an OLP pilot. My oldest son graduated in 2018. He loved his Augustinian education so much that he continued on and is now a junior at Villanova University. My daughter graduated from OLP in 2019 and is a sophomore at Auburn University. And my youngest is currently a junior here at Saints. Our family lives in North County, about a 10-minute drive to Cathedral Catholic. My husband and I are both graduates of Uni High School, which was Saints' big rival back in the day, before it closed and Cathedral opened. Naturally, we assumed that our children would attend Cathedral, but we all know never to assume. When my son was in 8th grade, Coach Hopt visited our little Catholic school in Solana Beach to encourage the boys to consider Saints. Garrett came home that afternoon saying that this was the school for him. To appease him, we took him to the Saints open house a few months later, and lo and behold, we were intrigued too. But why get on the freeway down to North Park when we could take surface streets to Cathedral? Well, a dear friend of mine put her 6 boys through Saints. 6 boys. She said to me back then, Janelle, if you can swing it, send your boys there. You will not regret it. It is the absolute best high school in San Diego, especially for boys. So, with her nudging, and after some deliberation, a few sleepless nights, some carpool coordination, and lots of harassment from our uni and Cathedral friends, we had our son take the test and apply to Saints. We could not be happier with our choice. For me, Saints is not only an education for our boys, but a gift. Truly a one-of-a-kind gift that molds them into strong, smart, funny Christian young men. Does that mean it's a perfect experience without a bump in the road here and there? No. Let's face it, they are humans, they are teenagers, and they are boys. But the faculty and staff and the administration has got your son's best interest and their backs every step of the way. You'll hear the idea of the Saints experience talked about through your years here. It is first and foremost our boys' experience, but it can also be your family's journey too. I can't tell you how grateful I am that my boys are 4 years apart and I get 8 straight years at Saints. I have made great friends of my own the past 6 years. My faith has grown in ways I didn't expect. I know every coffee shop and delicious restaurant in North Park. And now when I walk into any clothing store, my eye automatically goes to whatever is purple. How can you make it your experience too? As parents of a Saintsman, you are part of the APA. As soon as our boys are back on campus and we aren't doing everything virtually, you are invited to our monthly meetings. Please come. The schedule is located on the Saints website under the Parent tab on the homepage. You'll meet other parents at the meetings and get to know our principal, Mr. Horne. Volunteered events. We will tell you about them at the meetings, or you can find a list of them again under the same Parents tab with the person responsible for each event. Come to athletic events. Treat yourself to a play, a concert, an art show, all brilliantly put on by our students. I encourage you to attend Mass on Wednesdays. All parents are welcome. You'll get a good glimpse during that hour as to why you send your son here and what a special place this is. There's also a morning Mass on Thursdays for parents at 7:45 a.m., followed by the Rosary led by our St. Monica's prayer group. In my experience, we can never ever pray too much for our children, just as St. Monica did for her son, Augustine. Please check the calendar for specific times and dates once our physical campus reopens. Lastly, I suggest that you take the time to read the electronic newsletter that is published monthly. It's full of information about our school, our community, and upcoming important dates and events. My name and email address are on the website. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions you may have. Thank you, and go Saints.
At this point, I would like to offer a prayer, and it's a special prayer. It was written by Father John Sanders during his principalship many years ago. And as you might know, our gymnasium is named after him, and he's just one of those guys, just a great priest. Everyone loved him, and I think you'll find his prayer especially meaningful. It's called A Prayer for My Saintsman Son. Loving Father, please guide my son to always do your will. Allow him to see what is really important and to remind him how much I love him. Send good and wholesome friends into his life. Keep him safe. Bless him with good health and give him the courage to do the right thing when difficult or tempting choices cross his path. Make my son strong in character, rich in sympathy, and generous in spirit. Bless him with a gentle nature and a kind heart. Let him become a man committed to the gospel of your Son, Jesus. Grant him a lasting faith and lead him to a profound love for you, his family, and himself. Amen. My next guest is our principal, Jim Horne, who's our longtime principal. He's done a phenomenal job academically, very successful programs, especially kind of the keynote program that your sons will love, Intercession. But he has 3 boys, and Zach just happens to be in the freshman class. So Jim comes to us not only as principal, but also as a dad, just like so many of you. His wife, Kathy, also works in the main office, and Jim happens to be, in my view, a consummate professional, one of the best principals I've ever worked with, and a friend of mine. So without further ado, our principal, Mr. Jim Horne. Take it, Jim.
Thanks, Ed. Listen, we welcome you here, and I know for a lot of you this place is strange. For some of you this place is welcoming and you've had kids here before. But especially to you new parents, I want to welcome you and share with you that we're all here to serve you and help your kid feel like Saints is home. We know as we begin online studies and on ground studies, they're likely to be really overwhelmed. And if they're overwhelmed, we want you to know that's part of the process. It's part of their growing and maturing. I know for a lot of moms, it can be nervous-making. For a lot of dads, there can be uncertainty about, is my son feeling steady and ready for this experience? But we want you to know we specialize in this work. We're going to walk with them. We're going to let them kind of experience some struggle, and we're going to assist. Simple things like I can't remember where my locker is from orientation day. These problems happen all the time. When your son can't figure out how to address Canvas and submit an assignment, our counselors will be here to assist. So we know as you begin this experience, it can be really nerve-wracking, but we want you to feel at home with us and reach out for the help you need. You know, in a lot of schools, there are 2,000 and 3,000, 4,000 students in big high schools. And here at Saints, we're a small community. And so when Ed talks about this place being a place of welcoming and gathering, we want you to feel the same. My assistant Leona can assist you and direct your calls. I answer my own phone calls very often. And so Ed and I want to hear from you. We want to hear how we can express your ideas and concerns into bettering your son's experience here at Saints. You know, this year is an interesting year for me as a parent. For 17 years, I've been working here and working tirelessly to make this a great high school experience for young men. And this year, I'm a freshman parent. I have a son in the freshman class, and so I'll be journeying with you over these 4 years. And it's really important to me that we all have a positive experience. You know, sometimes the temptation, especially as parents, and you hear about these terms, helicopter parent, bubble wrap parent, but the temptation is to move obstacles out of the way for our sons so that they can have an easier experience. And although it seems intuitive that it would be easier if we move their obstacles, sometimes it's actually harmful to them. You know, there's this great story, and maybe you've heard it before, of a boy who sees a cocoon in a tree. And he notices the cocoon several days in a row, and one particular day notices that the caterpillar that's balled up in there was struggling to break its way out as a butterfly. And the young boy watched this go on for about 20 or 30 minutes, absolutely intrigued. He then decided he would help the butterfly out and release it from its cocoon by tearing the cocoon open a bit. And what he didn't realize is that butterflies succeed because they go through the struggle of breaking through that cocoon. It's exactly that process that makes their wings strong enough to fly. And I think as parents, our temptation to move these obstacles out of their way is a lot like that story. We've got to let the boys struggle. It helps them with their growth, their development, their maturation as men. And so we want you to know we're here to help. Let him kind of struggle through it. That's a good part of the process. And if you're struggling with that, and you just need someone to bounce ideas off of, or hey, this is going on with my guy, I don't want to solve it, but I'd love to discuss it, Ed and I are available. The counselors are available. But we want you to let your son enjoy the journey. So we welcome you to Saints. We're really happy you're here. We certainly hope you'll find a way to participate with us as a band parent, as a theater parent, as a sports parent. Maybe you want to get in the APA or the St. Monica's prayer group. But this sense of community isn't just for your sons, it's for you too, and we welcome you. Thanks for being here.
Well, now it's time for me to introduce myself. My name's Ed Hearn. I've been president here. I'm in my 15th year. I will say from the outset, this is the finest school I've ever been at, and my experience here has been phenomenal. I've been in Catholic education for 49 years. I've been at 5 different high schools, and somehow I've landed here on my feet at this wonderful, wonderful place, just as you have. I have 3 sons. All are in their 30s, and actually the oldest is just turned 40. I have 2 grandkids, and I have a wife, Diana, also for 49 years. So I'm coming up on 50 years, 2 big anniversaries coming up, one for me professionally as well as Diana. The other thing I'd like to note is we're in our 98th year history of being here in San Diego. School was founded in 1922, and there's quite a history at this school, and it's just been a very, very exciting place. So when I came in 2006, I was told a few things, and I thought those few things I should pass on to you, because I think they're very, very important that you understand, so you don't try to correct my grammar when you're reading some of my stuff. The first thing is the name of the school is not St. Augustine High School. It's St. Augustine's School of San Diego. I'll say that again. St. Augustine's, with an apostrophe S, School of San Diego. Now, why is that so important? Because when you put us in your will or trust, just kidding, I want you to get the right name, because there's a St. Augustine High School in New Orleans, and we certainly don't want anyone to get confused where that money is supposed to go. So there's a few things. Okay, so we're Saints, or we're St. Augustine High School. Saints, no apostrophe, with Saints, St. Augustine High School. You can use either or. In fact, in the paper, they almost invariably use Saints, and everyone knows who we are. So that's one thing. Saints or St. Augustine High School. That's proper. Two is St. Augustine or St. Augustine's. So St. Augustine is the city in Florida, happens to be the oldest city in the United States, but the philosopher, the theologian, the guy that was the inspiration for the order of St. Augustine is St. Augustine. That's the saint. I was told this on the steps of the monastery many years ago, not to get this screwed up. When you hear the term Austin, which Janelle Whitton is in charge of, the president of the Austin Parents Association, that is the English version of Augustine. So when you see that, you'll see Austin House. We're talking about the order of St. Augustine. The Augustinians are friars. They're priests and brothers, but you can call those priests and brothers a friar. Okay. Oh, one last thing. They live in a monastery, but they should live in a priory. But as it was explained to me, no one would really know what a priory is, so they named it a monastery. It's just kind of the quirky nature of our history. You might wonder what a president of a school does. Well, you've heard from Mr. Horne, and if we were standing back to back, my gaze as president would be looking out into the community. His would be looking into the school. Some might call me the CEO. Some might call him the COO, Chief Operating Officer. My job is to bring resources into the school so that Mr. Horne can use those resources for the best possible place to educate our boys. We've been working together for 15 years. There have been, like all relationships, some ups and downs. But we have the utmost respect for one another. Sometimes we disagree, but when we walk out into the world, we're in agreement. He is a very good friend of mine and just a consummate professional. You might wonder, and you've probably heard about the lawsuit. We were kind of sailing along, and the governor decided on July 17th that all high schools would not be in person, and we would have to be online. Like you in 8th grade last year, you probably experienced this. And you know, as well as our teachers here at the school, as well as our administration, that online learning, while Saints did an unbelievably good job doing it, is not nearly as effective as in-person education. You see, we believe in relational learning. We believe that students learn better when there's a solid relationship between the student and the teacher. And that's what we do very effectively at St. Augustine High School. So, this lawsuit, we felt, was racially discriminating against some of our minority kids who were low income. And so we initiated the lawsuit in Superior Court in San Diego here. And we've stepped back from that since because, as you know, we've gone off the watch list. And now we're in the 14-day sequence. And we're hoping that very soon we'll be in person in a hybrid situation. We have not given up our right to sue, but we have put it in abeyance right now, and the court has agreed that we should go through the right process that the state has set up for us to come online with other schools. So what the other speakers have already told you today, your involvement in the school is paramount to our good functioning and really your good functioning. So when we get through with this COVID-19 and we can finally kind of talk to one another face to face, we really need to get to know each other, form solid relationships, because the stronger we are together, the better we're going to educate our future sons as they go forward into university life in just a very short period of time. So welcome to St. Augustine High School. I wished circumstances were a little different, but we are so happy that you're with us today. Thank you.